Are you ready to finally make that dream a reality? Maybe it's updating your kitchen, paying down high-interest credit cards, or covering tuition. Your home is more than where you live. It's also your most powerful asset. At Unlock, we make it simple to turn equity into options. With a home equity agreement, you can access cash today without taking on monthly payments. Imagine the freedom to invest in your home, reduce financial stress, or finally start that big project you've been putting off. It's your home. It's your future. Unlock it today. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
Let's talk about Dan Muse's system here. I've been thinking it was, I knew it was a conservative sort of counterattack with an aggressive underbelly. I was putting it together and I got a text. You know what? I suppose I can tell you because he's going to be coming on the podcast or doing some videos with us as he did last season. Coach Francis is going to be joining us. His travel schedule is insane right now, and mine is kind of insane. So we're trying to figure out how to do this. We'll get there. And full credit to Francis because, I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit out of school. I hope I don't embarrass Francis. But, now that he's getting into his mid-30s, good Lord, I've known him since he was a teenage broadcaster. I was the play-by-play guy in Johnstown. He was the son of the head coach. He was a better play-by-play guy than I was. And he used to make tapes every game, and he'd crawl up into the catwalk and call the game. And I had him in the booth a couple of times, and I'm like, man, this guy's better than I am. I digress. Francis eschewed the media aspect and got into coaching and NAHL, scouting with the USHL, runs a prestigious hockey school now, Total Package Hockey, which a couple of the Penguins prospects have come through. Francis sent me a text just a couple of days ago saying, look at Muse's 1-1-3. And just you can visualize that. Look, when Mike Sullivan was being conservative, it was a 1-2-1. Or rather a 1-2-2. Sorry. I was thinking of the penalty kill. Sullivan had a 1-2-2, but it seemed like that second layer was always forward. They were trying to pressure teams, create pressure. It was always basically a 2.5-1 or a 2-1-2 or sometimes a 4-1. Heck, sometimes it was a 5-0, and then they would chase back for an odd man break. Obviously, that didn't work out so well the last few years for the Penguins because they really weren't fast enough to execute that jump. Well, now the Penguins are faster. But Muse has that 1-1-3, which what it does is it creates 3 to 4 layers through the neutral zone, where that second one can jump forward, can jump back, can slide laterally. One of the 3 can do the same thing. And actually, you're seeing quite a bit of that because one of the players, and let's just say the defensemen really like this system, really like this 1-1-3 that Muse has them in. And what you'll see, I mean, you'll never see 1, and 3 because they're always kind of looking forward. A defenseman kind of sneaks into the forecheck. That's the interesting thing. You'll see an Erik Karlsson or Chris Letang or Ryan Shea jump forward, and it looks like you're like, no, what are you guys doing? That's actually part of the deal. And I'm double checking some of the text. Yeah, it is a 1-1-3. You ever say something, you know it to be true, and then you have this momentary flash of doubt? Yeah, I just went through that. Like, oh God, what if I screw up and have to do this video all over again? No, fortunately, it is a 1-1-3. It begins to play like a 2-1-2 when you slide that defenseman up, but the unexpected nature of it. You look up and there's Harry Brunick skating at you, or Erik Karlsson, or whatnot. It begins to be difficult to have very easy, staid, regimented, structured breakouts, because it gives the Penguins a bit more flexibility in their aggression. At the same time, when they need it to be, it's also very structured, because now you're going to have those 3 or 4 layers through the neutral zone, which is impossible to skate through, but you can drop a defenseman back to get back to that back wall and get the puck and bring it forward. It becomes very difficult to dump it in against the Penguins. Or at least it's supposed to. You saw all of this breakdown on Saturday night. You saw the complete breakdown, anarchy, individual plays. You saw it all fly out the window on Saturday in that 6-1 loss to the New York Rangers. That can't really be the gauge of everything. At least it shouldn't be. So that is kind of the defensive structure, the schematics of Dan Muse's system. You also see when it's go time in the first period, when the Penguins actually were taking it to the Rangers, 6, maybe 7 shifts in a row, a Penguins defenseman controlled the puck below the dots. 6 or 7 straight shifts. Every single pairing rolling through twice. Got down low, made it a 4th stick in the battle, created pressure on the Rangers. They'd been able to hold that or get it back in the second period. Would have been an entirely different game, but they give up the shorty. The Rangers really pressed. The Rangers smelled blood Saturday, and the Penguins really weren't ready for it. The Penguins were due for a bad game. You didn't think Justin Brazeau was going to score 50 goals, did you? You didn't think that, Evgeny Malkin was going to have 2 points per game, did you? Some other players did play well. That's not the point of the podcast. Of course, Kindle gets his first NHL goal, and that was fun. I'm not going to lie. I enjoy these kids. I enjoy joking with them and teasing them a little bit and getting it back. Although Tristan Brose is the kid that gives it back the most. You get what I'm saying, though. They are an enjoyable crew that isn't yet sick of us media folk anyway. All right, so that is the Dan Muse system. Let's get to topic number 4 now, the goalies here on No Pucks Given. Artie Sheloffs has played 2 games, one pretty good that he wasn't really tested, the 3-0 shutout. He was tested, but they were one-offs. It wasn't a string or stream of pressure. Tristan Jarry got better as the game went on in game 2. He was leaky, unsure of himself, a bit unsteady in the first period, but he got through it. He was really good in the third period. If you are one of those who want to see the Penguins win games and you want to see players perform well, that was a good harbinger for Tristan Jarry. The pressure is on. He's battling for his job. The pressure was on as the other team was pressing with the game on the line. And he held the fort and did so with strength. He didn't hold the fort by scrambling or getting lucky. He held the fort by making good saves. Save after save after save in that third period against the New York Islanders. Now, Arturs Shilovs is a different matter because it's going to be important to remember where he is in his career. He hasn't played a lot of games at the NHL level. And because of that, he's still a rookie, don't forget. Because he doesn't have a lot of experience, Kyle Dubas used that word, runway. We have the runway to give to the player to see how he performs and let him grow and make mistakes and overcome things, so on, and so forth. Basically, what Dubas was saying was, he's going to have some clunkers and stinkers, and we're going to let him get through that. We're going to let him work his way through it because sometimes you learn more from getting beaten than you do from winning. Actually, I think that's a general rule of thumb. You almost always learn more from losing than you do from winning. On Saturday, you saw everything wrong with Shilov's game. The rebound control was okay at best. There were some juicy ones. He makes great saves down low. You get within 20 feet, you get a high danger chance. And Shilovs is tough to beat. He genuinely is. He is a difficult goalie to beat. But then if you get him at 40, 45, 50 feet with a bit of traffic, not even heavy traffic, just a bit of traffic, Adam Fox scores a couple of goals, one beyond the circle and one at the blue line. Neither were touched, and they just whistled on by. They weren't even that hard, to be honest. That's the problem. That was the exact thing. That was the bugaboo that killed Shilovs against Edmonton a couple of years ago in the playoffs. Evan Bouchard from the blue line. Boom, boom, boom. Teams are figuring it out. The Islanders the Rangers in game one were trying him. The Penguins blocked a lot of shots in game one. They got a couple through in game three. So with Shilovs, I suppose what you see now is not what we're supposed to judge. What we see now is kind of a snapshot on a moving train. Where it is today is not where it should be in a month or 2 months. If he's still giving up these long-range goals and kicking rebounds all over God's creation, then there's a problem. If he's doing that into January, there is a real problem. The Penguins know this. All right, that's topic 4. Where's number 5? Okay, number 5, reader questions. As we get to the 30-minute mark, reader questions from Jägersburg. Why is Ryan Shea on the team? Is it a coincidence and they send Ville Koivunen down, they get beaten? Okay. I go through this every year.
Are you ready to finally make that dream a reality? Maybe it's updating your kitchen, paying down high-interest credit cards, or covering tuition. Your home is more than where you live. It's also your most powerful asset. At Unlock, we make it simple to turn equity into options. With a home equity agreement, you can access cash today without taking on monthly payments. Imagine the freedom to invest in your home, reduce financial stress, or finally start that big project you've been putting off. It's your home. It's your future. Unlock it today. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
Wherein people begin to develop players they don't like or scapegoats and they just, everything that player does now seems wrong. Way wrong. So you can do a lot better than Ryan Shea in terms of finding a scapegoat. Shea has been solid. He has a couple more turnovers than I think he'd like. But that's also because he is playing a full 200 feet. Some of those turnovers are kind of inconsequential in the offensive zone. I don't recall anywhere in my notes where he's had a bad D zone giveaway in the first 3 games. And that's really where you can't have it happen. He's also playing with Chris Letang. And if you want my God's honest truth and opinion on the matter, Chris Letang is starting to concern me because he's not playing like Chris Letang. He's playing sort of like the very conservative, nicked up, injured Chris Letang of last season. So if you look closely, you'll see it's Ryan Shea going end to end and not Chris Letang. I very much like Ryan Shea as a player. He is not a $10 million top pairing D guy. I don't think he would argue with that. But in terms of being a regular, consistent NHL contributor, yeah. Look, watch him battle near the net. Watch him move the puck forward. Watch him get involved in the play. He's doing everything they ask of him and a bit more. Lot to like about Ryan Shea. Don't make him your scapegoat. Now, in terms of Ville Koivunen, no, just because A exists and B exists does not mean A plus B. There's no causation between Koivunen going down and the Penguins getting getting slapped on Saturday. None. Koivunen had not been a contributor in the first couple of games. No, I think we talked about quite a bit top of the show. That was certainly, I wouldn't have sent him down, but sending him down certainly didn't impair the Penguins. Jim Stripsky asks, Tommy Novak had 1 hit in the opener, 2 hits in game 2. Is he playing better and playing on the wall? Yes. He certainly came to life, did Tommy Novak, in game 2. He certainly is putting in an effort to be a better hockey player and not a soft perimeter guy. He's putting in the effort. So credit where it's due. Do I think he's succeeding? No, I just don't. He's got a ways to go, but if he's putting in the work, let's see how far he can take it. There's no question he's got hands, offensive instincts. And that was the Penguins' gamble last year, that they could help him uncover all of this, unlock all of this. Right now, he's still losing way too many wall battles. He's still getting knocked off the puck. He's not hard to play against. Again, but there's the effort anyway. So can he turn it around? Yeah, he's not like he's 35 trying to reinvent himself. He's still in his mid-20s trying to reinvent himself. So if they want to run him out there, he's going to. I mean, he makes $3.5 million. Yeah, they're going to run him out there. He makes $3.5 million for a couple more years. Let's see, what else do we have here? I didn't see who gave me the question about Sam Poulin. Oh, Steel City gives me the question. When would be the best time to move on from Sam Poulin? Well, the question confuses me, Steel City, because why would you want to? That just seems like I don't know. You have a player who actually is now beginning to improve. Better late than never. He had a really good training camp in preseason. He's a heavy player. What is he? 6 foot tall, 227 pounds. He's a brick block. Maybe down the road, he does become a useful fourth line penalty killing type who can chip in 10 goals. It's not what he wanted when he was a first round pick back in 2019, and he had designs on being a top 6 center or winger, a power forward who scores 25. He's had to mature a lot in the last few years. He doesn't shy away that he went through some mental health stuff. He doesn't sugarcoat it, doesn't hide it. He doesn't talk about the specifics, and nor should he. But I know it was really tough on him, and he looked me dead in the eye when I asked him, and I said, you do look better this training camp. Please don't take that as an insult. You look a step quicker. Are you? It's like, no, I am playing better, though. My conditioning is better. I finally feel healthy mentally and physically. Looked me dead in the eye. I said, last couple of years I did have mental health issues I was going through. And it was sincere. Why would you get rid of him? What do you gain by getting rid of him? Now, if you flipped that question, Steel City, and you asked me, is Sam Poulin better off somewhere else? I'd say yes. Unequivocally, I'd say yes. I would say getting away from Wilkes-Barre, getting a new start, new team, new coach, all of the above would be better for him. I think it would shortcut his path to the NHL. But I asked him that directly last April, was it? After practice, before a playoff game, a day before a playoff game. I would never ask this on a game day. But I said, are you committed to, sticking this out with the Penguins if it doesn't work out this summer? Would you ask to go somewhere else to get a fresh start and to get away from some of this stuff? And he's like, no, I want to be here and I want to make it with the Penguins. So that's that situation. I don't know what else to tell you about it. I think it'd be better for him to get away, but he gets to make the call, right? Well, I take that back. Not quite literally. But if he is content to fight his way up, then the Penguins have no reason to say no. All right, let me see here. RJ asks, is a 2-1 start reason enough to begin to have a change of thinking and pull back on all the trade talk? Well, no, RJ. Yes, the Penguins are still open for business. The price tag on Brian Rust is still sky high. And I suspect the price tag on Ricard Raquel is still high. It would take something special to pull Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang out. Next summer, when Malkin retires, it's going to change the whole dynamic. The trio will be done if indeed Malkin retires. If he doesn't, then I guess we'll have that conversation when it sort of happens. But no, a 2-1 start or a couple of wins by in no means changes the Penguins' need to continue this building process. And however Kyle Dubas sees fit, whether it's on the fly, whether he begins to gut the team a little bit, or if he kind of keeps just, these little tiny moves. Don't forget, Bill Zonin and Will Horkoff were first-round picks back in June. And Horkoff begins the Michigan season with a hat trick. We haven't seen much of Zonin yet. And I really wanted to see what Bill Zonin had. With his size and truculence and skill, I was intrigued about him. Of course, I also wasn't intrigued about Ben Kindle. Go figure. I think those are the reader questions I wanted to get to. I appreciate all of you on this No Pucks Given. Do me a favor. We're going to have it on the YouTube channel, but it's on the Odyssey Podcast Network. So pick that up wherever you get your podcast, the Apple, Spotify, the Amazons, and so on and so forth. Leave a comment or two. Praise, of course, please. Tell me how great I am. I can't get enough of that. Or any of that, to be honest. So, YouTube and the Odyssey Podcast Network. This is No Pucks Given. I'm Dan Kingerski. We'll talk soon. Have fun.
Are you ready to finally make that dream a reality? Maybe it's updating your kitchen, paying down high-interest credit cards, or covering tuition. Your home is more than where you live. It's also your most powerful asset. At Unlock, we make it simple to turn equity into options. With a home equity agreement, you can access cash today without taking on monthly payments. Imagine the freedom to invest in your home, reduce financial stress, or finally start that big project you've been putting off. It's your home. It's your future. Unlock it today. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.